Okay, now we will start unit 2 of this biological classification chapter, that is kingdom Protista. Okay, so kingdom Protista includes all eukaryotic organism irrespective of whether they are autotrophic or heterotrophic. The only sole criteria of this kingdom is to include organisms which are eukaryotic and unicellular. So it includes all single celled eukaryote are placed under Protista. Now, boundary of this kingdom is not well defined. What may be photosynthetic protist for one biologist can be plant for another biologist. For example, Chlamydomonas and Chlorella are green algae. As they can prepare their own food and they are photosynthetic, so most of the biologists place them in kingdom Plantae under algae. But because they are unicellular and eukaryote, they are placed in kingdom Protista. Okay, so the boundaries of this kingdom are not well defined. What may be a photosynthetic protistian to one biologist may be plant for another. Okay, then we divide this protist into 5 different groups, that is chrysophyte, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime mold and protozoans. Out of this protozoan will be discussed by zoology sir and rest will be discussed by me. Okay, now primarily members are aquatic, can be freshwater or marine. Okay, then this kingdom forms a link with other dealing with plant, animal and fungi. That means at bottom you have Monera, above this you have Protista, and from Protista all these 3 multicellular kingdom have evolved, that is fungi, then Plantae, then Animalia. So being eukaryote, they contain well-defined nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles. So as they are eukaryote, they will have defined nucleus and membrane-bound organelle. Some have flagella or cilia. Okay, so for motility or for locomotion, they have flagella or cilia. They reproduce asexually, preferably under favorable condition, and sexually by process involving cell fusion. That means here, because they are unicellular, cell will itself act as gamete and they will fuse. Okay, so cell fusion and zygote formation. So when there is fusion of gamete, that will result in formation of zygote. So first group is chrysophyte. This chrysophyte includes diatoms and desmids, which is commonly referred as golden algae. So desmids are commonly referred as golden algae. Okay, they are freshwater as well as in marine environment. So they can be freshwater organism or they may be present in marine condition. Okay, now they are microscopic and float passively in water current. That means they are planktonic. That means there is no specialized structure for locomotion, so they can move along with the water current. So that type of organisms are referred as planktonic. So they are planktonic. Most of them are photosynthetic. In diatom, the cell wall form 2 overlapping thin cell, and this is fitted in soap box. This is fitted in soap. Okay, so it consists of something like this. Okay, and they are fitted in soap box manner. So 2 thin overlapping cell which fit together as a soap box. Okay, then what you will observe, on wall there is deposition of silica. That means wall is embedded with silica, and because of presence of silica on their wall becomes indestructible. So the wall are embedded with silica and thus the wall are indestructible. Okay, so when there is death of diatom, large amount of wall material cell wall deposit in their habitat. This accumulation over a billion of years is referred to as diatomaceous earth. So diatomaceous earth is nothing but it is remains of diatom cell wall. Because of the presence of silica, it is indestructible, and in course of time, in billions of years, large amount of this gets deposited, and that is referred as diatomaceous earth. Now this diatomaceous earth is gritty in nature, So it is used for polishing and filtration of oil and syrup. Okay. Then diatoms are, this question have been asked, diatoms are chief producer of ocean. That means most of the photosynthesis in water body is carried out by these diatoms. Okay. So this is diatom. Next is dinoflagellate. Okay. Now dinoflagellate, or they are also photosynthetic. Okay. They are mostly marine. Okay. Now they appear yellow, green, brown, blue, red. So their color is variable, and that color depends upon type of photosynthetic pigment present in these dinoflagellates. Then their body is covered with stiff cellulosic plates. Okay. And because of the presence of these stiff cellulosic plates, they are also referred as armored protist. Okay. Now most of them have two flagella. They are biflagellated. So suppose this is structure of a dinoflagellate. One flagella is present in longitudinal groove and other is present in transverse groove, and these two are placed perpendicular to one another. One lies in longitudinal and other in transverse furrow between the wall plates. Okay. Then some of the dinoflagellates like Goniolax, they can multiply very fast, and they are responsible for a phenomenon that is referred as red tide. Because they are red in color, and as they can multiply very fast, they make color of tide red. Okay. Now they also release toxin in water body, and these toxins are referred as sexitoxin. We call them sexitoxin, and these sexitoxins are harmful for animal, aquatic animal, and they can even cause death of fishes. Okay. So this is dinoflagellate. I am only discussing that part which is there in NCERT. If you have any doubt, you can refer to original video which will be followed after this short duration course. So for reference, you can also follow complete video if you have any doubt in any topic. Okay. Now next group is euglenoids. Now most of the euglenoids are freshwater organisms. Okay. So they are freshwater organisms found in stagnated water. Okay. So you will observe euglenoids in stagnated water. Now here cell wall is absent, and in place of cell wall, body is covered with protein rich layer called pellicle, which makes their body flexible. So cell wall is not there, and body is covered with proteinaceous layer, that is pellicle, and this pellicle makes this body flexible. Then they have two flagella. This is very important feature, and one flagella is very short, another is very long. So a short and a long one. Okay. Although they are photosynthetic, that means they have photosynthetic pigment similar to higher plant, but when light is not there, they predate upon small insect larvae. That means they can act as both autotroph as well as heterotroph, and such type of nutrition is referred as mixotrophic nutrition. That's why we also call them producer consumer protist. So they are photosynthetic in the presence of sunlight, and when deprived of sunlight, they behave like heterotroph by predating on other small organisms. Okay. And interestingly, the euglenoid pigment is identical to those pigment in higher plants. An example is Euglena. Okay. So there are few points, that is presence of pellicle, unequal flagella, okay, mixotrophic nutrition. These are some important points of this euglenoids. Now next is slime mold. Slime molds are also referred as consumer decomposer protist. Okay. So they are saprophytic. Okay. Their body moves along decaying twigs and leaves engulfing organic material. That means they grow on detritus, dead and decaying organic matter. Okay. Then under suitable condition, they form aggregation called plasmodium. This plasmodium is nothing but it is multinucleated mass of protoplasm. Okay. Which may grow and spread over several feet. So if conditions are favorable, this multinucleated mass of protoplasm, that is plasmodium, spread in large area, in area of several feet. Okay, this is very important. During unfavorable condition, plasmodium differentiate and forms fruiting body, that is reproductive structure, which bears spore, and this spore at the tip, and this spore possesses true wall. That means here you have cellulosic cell wall. Here cellulosic cell wall is present in spore. So what is the purpose of this cellulosic cell wall? This cellulosic cell wall helps that spore to survive under unfavorable condition. Okay, so that spore acts as perinating structure, that is, it helps in survival during unfavorable condition, and when condition becomes favorable, it will germinate to form new individual. So they are extremely resistant and survive for many years even under adverse condition. That is true for spore because of the presence of rigid cellulosic cell wall. Okay, the spore are dispersed by air current. So dispersal of spore takes place with the help of air current. One of the example of slime mold is Physarum. That is not required, but once this question was asked, Physarum is slime mold. Okay, now